Calculation views are defined either as graphical views or as scripted views, depending on creation type. They can be used in the same way as analytic views. However, in contrast to analytic views, it is possible to join several fact tables in a calculation view, where measures are selected from the different fact tables.
The following is a list of the main data sources types that are supported in calculation views.
For more information about this feature, in particular, to know which functionality you can use with SQL engine execution and understand that the same code does not always behave exactly the same way in the two engines, especially with null values, see SAP Note 1857202. As a first step, when you create a calculation view, decide which type of view you will use. SAP HANA supports 4 types of graphical calculation views. Calculation views of type dimension, as well as calculation views with no assigned type, are typically used in cases where you do not want to enable multi-dimensional reporting in your view. Dimension calculation views do not allow measures. Any numeric columns or values will be treated as attributes. When you must analyze data with multidimensional reporting, you will use a calculation view of type cube or cube with star join. As a reminder, for multidimensional reporting purposes, you must use analytic views whenever they fulfill your business requirements and only turn to calculation views if you cannot address the business requirements with analytic views.
A calculation view can use as many nodes as you need. Each node has its own capabilities and behavior. A projection node is typically used to filter data based on attributes and also to extract only some columns from a data source.
The purpose of an aggregation node is to apply aggregate functions to measures based on one or several attributes. A graphical calculation view can support sum, minimum, maximum, and count. Be aware that more aggregation functions are available. Example, average. But to access these additional aggregation functions, you must create an SQL-based calculation views. This function acts similarly as a group by clause in an SQL query, where you must specify the aggregate function for each measure. Here, the group by clause is not materialized as such, but takes each and every attribute selected for the output. The join node is used to join two and only two tables, as you would do in the data foundation of an attribute or analytic view, or in the star join node of an analytic view.
A union node is used to combine two or more data sets to a common set of columns. Depending on how different the column names from the data source are, you can use the columns automatically by name, that is, columns with identical names will be mapped automatically and/or adjust the mapping manually.
The figure illustrates how to manage the unmapped columns in a union node. If your source data for a graphical calculation view is of a star schema type, you can create a calculation view of type cube with star join. A star join node enables you to join the fact data with the descriptive data. The input allowed to the star join includes the lower nodes and any relevant calculation view of type dimension. This way, you are logically creating a star schema where the join is created from the central entity to the other entities. During deployment, the star join is always deployed with an aggregation node on top of it. The star join is deployed first with a series of joins, and then the aggregation logic is deployed. From SAP HANA SPS09 onwards, the star join in calculation views supports the referential join type, which can speed up the execution of the calculation view when you do not query any column from one or several of the attribute views assigned to the star join node, as the join will not be executed. As always, using a referential join requires that the referential integrity of the joined tables is ensured.
The purpose of the rank node is to enable the selection within a data set of the top 1 to n values for a measure you define, and to output these measures together with the corresponding attributes and, if needed, other measures.
Another use of the calculation view is to join an analytic view from SAP BW, powered by SAP HANA, to another analytic view created within SAP HANA Studio. Because calculation views offer much flexibility, SAP HANA Studio provides advanced functionality to manage nodes and semantics. A number of these features are new in SAP HANA SPS09.
It is possible to convert a projection node into an aggregation node and vice versa without losing the reference to the data sources of the node. Additionally, in the particular case of the upper node of a calculation view, that is, the last node of the calculation logic, you can switch between projection, aggregation, and star join node.
Depending on the type of node and view configuration, you can replace the data source of a node, for example, a table, an information view, or another node, by another one.
It is possible to insert an additional node, except the star join one, between two existing nodes without losing the selection of columns for the output and all the related information like calculated columns and so on.
It is possible to extract the semantics from the underlying data sources of the nodes, especially when these data sources are information views with rich semantics, and to propagate them to the semantics of the calculation view. To understand and fine-tune the different steps of a calculation view, each node can be previewed independently from the calculation view itself. To achieve this preview, the view must be active, that is, it must have been successfully validated and activated. You can map input parameters and also variables defined in a calculation view with the input parameters or variables defined in the source views. You can do that to pass the parameter value itself, but also to pass the relevant list of values to the input parameter dialog box at runtime when the view is executed. In SAP HANA SPS 10, it is now possible to copy and paste part of a model in the scenario pane within the same calculation view.